I bring my syringe over here. I inject it as I'm ready to inject. So what you're gonna see as you are watching the screen here is a red line going along the bottom. And this is just basically that mobile phase hitting the detector. We've sped it up to about 6 times the speed just because it takes a few minutes for it actually to move through the column, and I wanted to save some time on the video. So here shortly we should see a little peak. I know it doesn't look super dramatic, but it's pretty realistic as to this machinery. Here at the end of the run, I'm going to hit the auto scale feature, and you'll be able to see kind of once that data is scaled, how much space it actually takes up. So now that we've run our caffeine peak, or our caffeine sample, we are gonna be able to see that we have quite a large peak right about a little less than 3 minutes. And what that gives us indication of is our retention time. The retention time tells us how long that caffeine molecule was in the column based on the interactions that relates back to our polarity. So as the mobile phase carried that caffeine molecule through the column, as that caffeine molecule interacted with that stationary phase in that column, it did not reach the detector until about 3 minutes in. So now that we have this idea of where our caffeine peak is, we are going to run our sample of our Diet Pepsi. So I'm going to unload my syringe. I'm going to clean it once again. Now, some preparation that I did for the Diet Pepsi is that I degassed it, so I got all of the carbonation out and I diluted it to about 1/2 of the molarity. So now I'm going to fill my syringe again with that same 50 microliters. Check for air bubbles, and now I'm ready to run my sample once again. So as you watch this graph, you should see that blue line moving across your screen. We see this little peak here that lends itself to some of the preservatives, some of the extras that are in the Diet Pepsi that are not in the pure caffeine sample. And again, we've sped up this recording to make it go a little faster. What we're going to be looking for is a peak right about where that red peak is to match the fact that both samples have caffeine in them. As you can see, we have this auto-scaled graph, so we get that nice looking peak. The Diet Pepsi peak is a little smaller than the pure caffeine peak, given just the fact that it's not as pure